Hello friends and welcome into the Cowboys Report. I am your host Tom Downey. On today's show, we're taking a look at your trade packages. We've got about a dozen of these submitted by Cowboys Report watchers, so we'll break down your trade ideas and I promise I will at least try to be nice on these. First up from Big Master TVs, he's got a Stefon Diggs, Amari Cooper trade. Diggs to the Cowboys and a third rounder going back to Minnesota. I would do this trade in a heartbeat if I were the Dallas Cowboys, because as we've mentioned before on the show, Stefon Diggs' contract is insanely team-friendly. The issue for Minnesota, you're going to be paying Diggs and Amari Cooper. Now, both these guys are really good receivers. I think they're number one guys. Diggs' number is a bit suppressed by the heavily run-focused offense that Minnesota went through. He kind of got a little pouty this late in the season. Maybe Amari Cooper did as well. I am very intrigued by this trade. I like it because you get a really good number one receiver at a much cheaper cost. That's valuable to me. So who says no? Type V for the Vikings and C for the Cowboys. Now feel free to cast your votes on all of these trades as we go through them. I would love Minnesota to say yes. In the end, I don't think they do, because not only will they be paying Diggs still a little bit, they'd have to pay Amari Cooper as well. So I'm typing in my V. I don't think Minnesota says yes. Next up, a Darius Slay trade, a third-round pick to Detroit, and also a throw-in of Trysten Hill. I respect how many of you people offered up Trysten Hill for all types of little to no return when we put this on the community. I think it's close to the right value for Darius Slay. Now, maybe it's a second-round pick, but you're not that far off there. It ends up being a third, and let's just say a sixth-rounder. That's what Trysten Hill's value is. Darius Slay is a playmaker. He's been that for the Detroit Lions. Bunch of interceptions each of his NFL career. I like the idea of it. As we mentioned on our video on Tuesday, you would have to pay Slay. That could be a red flag in a trade for the Dallas Cowboys. Now, you guys knew a Jamal Adams trade was going to come in. There were a bunch of them on the community page. LANDON'S here, though, had the most upvotes, so I went with that one because I'm a man of the people, at least I try to be. The Jets get a first-round pick, a third-round pick, and Tyrone Crawford. Now, frankly, I don't think Crawford does anything for the Jets. More on him coming up, by the way. But a first and a third-rounder, I actually think that's a pretty good trade offer. Now, I don't know if the Jets accept it, but I think a first-round pick and a third-round pick is the right value for Jamal Adams. So, Landon, I like this idea that you put together. Now, if we don't get to your trade idea, sorry, we didn't get to everyone, and I'm sure there's some that didn't see the community. So put your best Cowboys trade idea in the comment section. Specifically, by the way, put it at the pinned comment. You might get it with an ad break here. If you do, take advantage of that opportunity. Scroll down to the pinned comment and cast your votes right there. O.J. Howard trade. That's next up here from Invoke. A 2021 second-round pick. I don't even know if the Bucs take a 2020 second-round pick. And if you're Tampa, I think you would definitely want that 2020 second-rounder, because that 2021 pick, normally valued as one round less than the current year, that might be in the late 50s or 60s next year if the Bucs were to get that pick back. I like the idea, though. I would love to bring in O.J. Howard. He wasn't utilized that well this year by the Bucs. Imagine giving O.J. Howard the market share you gave Jason Witten. That's a fun offense. That's a big upgrade for Howard and for the Cowboys. So I would do it for a second rounder. We'll see if the Bucs end up shopping him, but I am a big fan of adding O.J. Howard if I actually can this offseason. All right, Cowboys SB has a Josh Jackson trade also involving Trysten Hill. Two former second-round picks who haven't really panned out so far. Jackson found himself in the doghouse this year for the Green Bay Packers, but remember, he was part of the Mike McCarthy-led regime that took him. I think he'd be a better fit in Dallas, or at least won't be benched like he is in Green Bay. If I can get him for Trysten Hill, I say yes. Not really convinced the Packers would do that trade, but hey, it's the NFL. Crazy stuff happens. Frankly, I think Josh Jackson should be a trade target this offseason for the Dallas Cowboys. Today's show is brought to you by BetDSI. If you want to bet on the NFL, bet on futures for the NFL, do it on BetDSI. It's chatsports.com/bet. use that promo code Cowboys. Now, maybe you don't know what futures are. That's totally fine. I wouldn't be surprised there. That's stuff, they're future bets, stuff that's going to happen or could happen. For example, projected win totals, the over-unders for the NFC East. The Cowboys are at 9. I know maybe it sounds homerish, but I'm going to take the over on that one. So if those bets intrigue you, do it on BetDSI. Chatsports.com/bet. The promo code is Cowboys120. All right, some more trade ideas. This one from Ace Wonder Waffles. He says, how about a Cowboys second-round pick and a possible third or fourth rounder to San Francisco for a first-round pick? That way Dallas can get, maybe it's Kinlaw or McKinney or Kinlaw and Henderson, who I doubt is actually there. I think in reality here, my friend, is that this particular trade, it would have to come down to a second-round pick and a third-round pick. You're not going to get up from the 50s to the 30s in exchange for second and fourth. And frankly, second and third might not quite be enough, but the Niners, you're right, as you mentioned, they are light on draft capital. So the value's close enough there. And if there is a player you covet at 31, the Niners are certainly a team to discuss a trade with. But do you guys want to trade up or down? What should Dallas do in this year's draft? Type 1 to move up, 2 to move down. In general, I actually prefer moving down. I like to have volume. I like quantity in the NFL draft. Now, I don't want to trade all the way out and have like only 5th and 6th and 7th round picks. But if I can move down from 17 to 24, that's really interesting to me as a Cowboys fan. All right, Zohair also has a Niners-Cowboys trade. This type of trade always pops up, so I just want to address it here. Zeke Elliott to San Francisco for 2 first-round picks and Matt Breida. Guys, stop it. You cannot trade Zeke. It is not going to happen. It makes 0 sense for the Cowboys. Here's why. Zeke Elliott's cap hit in 2020, it is $10.9 million. If you trade Zeke Elliott, the cap hit for the Cowboys in 2020 becomes $19 million. You cannot pay Zeke $8 million more than you would be paying him for him to not be on your team. You are tied with him through the 2021 season. So if you want to trade Zeke, just stop it. It's not going to happen. I also had several trade packages involving Tyrone Crawford. I saw one for a second rounder. Guys, come on. You cannot convince other NFL teams to take the player that you don't want and get great value back. That is not how the NFL works. It is not Madden. When I used to play Madden, I would re-sign my free agents and then trade them for picks. Because I never played more than 2 or 3 years in a franchise, and the dead money didn't bother me long term. That's not how it works, though. So Tyrone Crawford, guys, you ain't getting a premium pick for him. And at an $8 million base salary, I'm not convinced anyone wants to trade for him. A pay cut or release makes way more sense for Tyrone Crawford. Now, there are some Cowboys jerseys available from our friends over at Fanatics. These are for under $100. There are some custom ones, for example, that are more expensive. But you can find Cowboys jerseys of current players for under $100 at chatsports.com/CowboysJersey. That's chatsports.com/Cowboys. Not all of them are under $100. Keep your eye out. There are some that are available under that price tag. And if you pay attention, you might be able to get some promo codes for free shipping on there as well. It's chatsports.com/CowboysJersey. Now, we went through some bad trade ideas, but Zach's was funny, and I couldn't not bring it up. The Cowboys get Patrick Mahomes. The Chiefs get Dak Prescott and 10 first-round picks. Who says no? Who says no to that trade idea? 10 first-round picks to KC. We have our Chiefs host here, Harrison Graham, in the audience. Who says no? He says the Chiefs say no. I think the Cowboys say no. You can't give up 10 first-round picks and then pay a guy $45 million. Well, let me know. This is fun. That's the point of the show. We're here to have some fun. He says Chiefs. I actually say Dallas says no. Maybe they do both end up saying no. You guys can cast your votes there. But it was a fun one that I at least wanted to mention. All right, back to me hating on you people in a nice, fun way. Joe Burrow. Give up the dream, guys. This sounds a little bit contradictory, but we simultaneously don't understand the way the NFL values the #1 overall pick, and at the same time, we overvalue how likely a quarterback is to be a superstar. Like, what are the odds that Joe Burrow is a top 10 NFL quarterback within 3 or 4 years? Aren't they maybe around 500? Like, being top 10 is tough. How many of the past 15 quarterbacks drafted are top 10? Not very many of them. Getting to #1 overall in general is a pipe dream. The Bengals are going to take him. The cost is astronomical. Joe Burrow, in the end, guys, could be anything. He could be Ryan Leaf. He could be Peyton Manning. He might be a quarterback as good as Dak Prescott. I think in general, we undervalue how much it is and how much value there is of having a known thing. We know that Dak Prescott's really good. We know that he is a top 15 quarterback. I think Joe Burrow is going to be really good. He's also already 23, coming off 1 year at LSU where he actually played well. There is at least the possibility of risk there. You know what you're getting in Dak Prescott. And, of course, the cost straight up ends up making the money you save a moot point. Now, I put this on the community earlier this week, by the way. 80% of you guys voted for Dak Prescott, which is weird to me because that Joe Burrow trade, a couple of them, were some of the most liked comments on the community. Strange to me. In the end, this proves to me once and for all, it is the vocal minority that wants to move on from Dak Prescott, and 80% of you guys are thinking pretty good. All right, some more trades. This one from Hunter. The Browns get a second-round pick. The Cowboys get David Njoku and Olivier Vernon. I am intrigued by this idea because I like David Njoku. The problem for me is it kind of comes down to the Darius Slay issue. I can't pay Vernon $15.5 million this season. I don't even know if I want to play Quinn that much. So to give up that amount of money and a premium draft pick for 1 year of Vernon and a gamble on Njoku, I say no to that one. The final one here, a Cowboys Raiders trade. So we'll get Mitchell Renz to chime in here in just a second from off screen. The Raiders get Chidobe Awuzie and Joe Jackson in exchange for Deshaun Kaiser and Arden Key. Who says no, Mitch? Mitch likes it for the Raiders, and he should, because you're giving up Arden Key, who's been, he just made a farting sound in the background, not great. Deshaun Kaiser, who I love, by the way, coming out, not great. Let's say Joe Jackson, Arden Key's kind of a wash. You might get being a better player than Arden Key. I don't think it's a good idea to trade your #2 corner for a backup quarterback. Awuzie for Deshaun Kaiser, that's a bad trade. That's a bad trade. So I wouldn't mind getting Kaiser somehow, but I'm not going to give Awuzie for him. I say heck no to this trade if I'm the Dallas Cowboys. Hey Cowboys fans, thanks for watching the Cowboys Report. If you haven't already, click right here to subscribe to our channel for all the best Cowboys coverage on the internet. That's news, rumors, highlights, mailbags, film studies, and a whole lot more. And I'm making your lives a little bit easier as well with the next Cowboys Report video right here.